Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is impossible choice Dan Ryan.
Man, does that sum up this episode.
It really does. Oh. Welcome to May, a new month that brings a new Stone Age starter kit. And this time, it was for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it hurt. Put a price on your childhood because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
Man, I don't feel good about it. I really don't.
I actually feel pretty good about my list. I hated seeing the stuff that I left off, but I feel that I came up with a really good list.
I'm really interested to see where where we have similarities and differences.
Word. Me too.
It's going to be a thing.
Yeah. But in the meantime, hi everyone. This is episode 357. It's the week of May 7th, 2021. And how you doing, Dan?
I'm I'm all right.
Yeah, same here. Been looking forward to starting the show.
Yeah. It's been a long day. I had a full shift at the office today, and then a training immediately when I could have stayed at the office, but I would have been at the office until 5:30 instead of 3:30 when I get to leave. So I had to come home and then immediately jump onto a Zoom call, and fucking do a training seminar, which was super cool. And then we went to so near my house, they just opened up this brand new Asian grocery store, which I love Asian markets, man. My dislike of white people food is well documented. I'm just not a fan of white people food for the most part. So I was really, really excited to go check out this grocery store. And this is legitimately the nicest grocery store in the area, taking into account all of the other grocery stores. This is nicer than our ShopRite. It's as nice, if not nicer, than our Whole Foods and our Wegmans.
Well, beating a ShopRite isn't exactly a high bar.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why I had to go to the Wegmans and the Whole Foods as well.
Not that I haven't been to nice ShopRites before, because I have. They exist. There's one by, what's the one where, one of those conventions that we do.
The one by Too Many Games?
Garden State Comic Fest. There's a ShopRite across the street from that place that's really good. And they make these awesome sandwiches, and we go there and get sandwiches whenever I miss conventions. I
do too. But anyway, I went to this grocery store, and meanwhile, back in the Hall of Justice. So it
I'll stop the missiles that have already been launched. Aquaman, you go talk to some fish.
So fucking good. So good. God, I just, don't you just feel bad for people who haven't seen The State?
I do.
There exist people in the world who are The State? Never heard of it. And it's oh, man. That really sucks for you. And I don't know.
Wonderful.
I don't know how well The State holds up if you weren't a fan.
Great. Oh, no, yeah, if you weren't a fan.
If you weren't a fan originally, I don't know that that's one of those things where you see it for the first time now and you're no, you're right, this is brilliant.
Well, I don't know that I can't speak to now, but I can say that my wife didn't watch it back when it was on. Okay. And she saw most of it through me.
Sure.
And she fucking loves it. So it's at the very least in that respect it worked out well. But I can't say for now, but I can say that if you were seeing it for the first time 13, 14 years ago, it still was funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's God, it's just fucking brilliant. Anyway, So there was actually, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so one of the things that we got while we were at the Asian market, we got some Durian Treats, which
wait, treats?
Yeah, it's as bad as advertised.
I mean, eating durian in general, I thought was supposed to be like eating roadkill or something. Like it was already punishment on its own.
I mean, there was a flavor. There was a flavor that I couldn't quite like. I couldn't put my finger on what it was. But man, like, so that was an experience. Yeah, it was super weird. But we got a jackfruit while we were there, because the girls were like, "What?
Why not just complete the adventure?" Right?
The girls were like, "What the fuck is this giant thing?" And it's a jackfruit, and they were like, "Can we get it?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's like $1 a pound, and this was like a 22-pound jackfruit. It's fucking huge." We were like, "Yeah, whatever. Get the fucking jackfruit. It's fine." Because Tiff was like, "Oh, they make like jackfruit tacos and stuff like that, and they're cultivating jackfruit all over the fucking world as a meat replacement because it grows in a lot of different places, and we're fucking destroying the environment. So, jackfruit. Like, okay, cool." So Tiff went to make that for dinner tonight, and apparently, you are supposed to use, if you're going to cook it as like a meat substitute, you are supposed to use a young jackfruit, a green jackfruit even. And this jackfruit that we had was not a young jackfruit. This was a mature jackfruit that had seen some shit. And
geriatric jackfruit.
It really was. I mean, it was legit. It was like 22 pounds. It was monstrous. And Tiff cooked it tonight for dinner, and it's one of the few things I've ever eaten in my entire life where I was like, this isn't it wasn't bad, right? The texture was, man, if you barbecued some slugs, I would imagine that's what a similar texture would be. And I know I'm not selling it, but like, I eat clams and mussels, so like, what the fuck ever, you know what I mean? That's neither here nor there.
Me out too.
Yeah, no, sure, I get that.
I'm not exactly adventurous when it comes to weird ass foods.
No, you're definitely not.
Take that with a grain of whatever the fuck you want.
With a grain of fucking kosher salt, because why not? We're all inclusive here.
I love kosher salt. It's what I use.
The weirdest part about it was that the first bite, I was like, all right. I mean, I kind of see what you're going for. It has kind of like a sluggy pulled pork kind of thing going on, which is not a great description, I realize, but it's like, I kind of see what you're going for, and every subsequent bite got worse and worse. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that while you're eating something, where you're like, the first bite, not too bad. Like the durian, I took a bite and like chewed it and swallowed it, and then immediately threw out the rest of the little cake thing that it was in. I was like, not a fucking chance am I going to put that in my mouth again. But then, like, this thing, man, like, I took a bite, really, it was like, that's not bad. I see what you're going for. And then the next bite, I was like, no. And then the third bite, I was like, all right, I'm really fucking cooling on this shit. And then the fourth bite, I was like, get this out of my goddamn face before I punch a child. This is the worst thing I've ever fucking had. It was such a weird experience. So
it's really like just the grossest looking thing fresh.
Jackfruit?
Yeah, you crack that thing open and it is horrifying.
Yeah, no, like, imagine cleaning that son of a bitch out. Like, that was... Because I had to, like, pull all those little pods out, because that's the meat that you cook up and whatever. And, like, man, I don't know. It's like, it's got this weird citrusy fucking thing. I don't know. It was way too big. It was way too ripe. Like, I would definitely try it again. But my goodness, man. I don't know. This thing was... it was weird. Like, thankfully, everything else we got from the Asian market was, like, awesome. Like, it was fucking awesome. Like they have the type of Thai iced tea I like, and you know, we got like a bunch of like frozen steamed buns and shit, and like really cool, you know, just fucking weird shit that we don't usually get in America. And I was like, all right, this is fucking dope. Like this will be our grocery store from now on. Like, because they also had, you know, like Kraft mac and cheese and whatnot.
Okay, I have to stop you for a sec.
Okay.
Because while you were talking, I was just looking up pictures of jackfruit to remind myself what it looked like.
Yeah.
And it was exactly as horrifying as I said. But then one of the pictures I clicked on said jackfruit versus durian. So I was like, okay, I'll click on this. And the description of flavor says that jackfruit is sweet and has a flavor all its own. But the closest way to describe it is as a mixture of the flavors of apple, banana, mango, and pineapple.
Yeah.
Ripe jackfruit is sometimes compared to the taste of juicy fruit gum.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, durian is not only sweet, but has savory tones as well, and can be a bit salty. The taste of durian has been compared to that of scrambled eggs, sweet cheese, or a mixture of garlic and caramel with a creamy base flavor.
Yeah, it was all of that at the same
horrible.
time, Chris. It was all at the same time. It was like you had some scrambled eggs that you put some cheese on, and you were like, all right, that's pretty cool. You know what we should add to this party, though? Fucking
Garlic
caramel
and
sauce.
caramel.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Salted caramel. Throw that shit on there.
That
And then,
description was from gardeningchannel.com. Thank you.
yeah, it was all of that. All of that just right in my fucking mouth. It was
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it was horrendous. So to wash the taste of this meal away, we celebrated with the girls' very first slices of Viennetta because ShopRite had it. And
What's Viennetta?
You never had Viennetta when you were a kid? The fucking ice cream cake thing with like the crispy chocolate wafers in between that they stopped selling when we were like 10?
No, I've never even seen this before.
Oh my god, it was like,
What the heck is this?
oh my god, it was like fancy people ice cream cake. Like we only had Viennetta
Wow.
on like very special occasions, which is bullshit because it's like $5 and fuck
It's
you,
made by
Mom.
Good Humor.
Yeah, well, it used to be Breyer. Like Unilever owns all of it. So it doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, Good Humor put it out now. But ShopRite had it. Like I saw that it was coming back, and I kept like every time I would go to ShopRite, like I would go once a week just to see if they had Viennettas, and they never did, and I was so upset. And they had it this weekend, so I fucking grabbed one of those, and the girls loved it as well. They should.
It looks shishy as hell.
It was, man, and it really shouldn't be because it's not that much money. But you know, whatever. So that was my day.
That's really something. I certainly hope Angie is still listening. Have you ever heard of Violets, the candy Violets?
Yes, I'm gonna look it up so that I'm not bullshitting.
I mean, be careful because Amazon. I looked it up because Amazon started hitting me with a lot of ads for it after I looked it up. Apparently, it's like a candy that imitates the taste of actual candied violet petals or something.
Fuck, I think I've had this.
They look terrifying, and Evan eats them all the time whenever we start recording TWEP, and it makes Angie want to vomit on a regular basis. And I don't know why this reminded me of it, because this actually looks delicious, this Viennetta, but just the fancy violet, whatever it was. It just kind of popped into my head, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've had this before. I don't...
It's scary.
Is it? I mean, it's...
I don't know.
You can eat a violet, like, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can eat a lot of things. I can eat a couch cushion, but I'm not gonna.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So, anyway, how you been?
I'm doing all right. The kids are both back in school as of today, which made me very happy until the school day ended, and then they.
It's like, oh yeah, this is why I hate you fuckers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it didn't go extraordinary. Like John wasn't happy to be back in school, and
sure,
Ellie was just being, I don't know. There was like something in the water today. Everybody was in a really weird mood today, and just all about getting on each other's nerves. Like Ellie had 2 timeouts after school. Like,
oh shit,
like quick succession. Like she'd calm down from one thing and then she'd be like, all right, now I'm gonna start jumping on the dog while she's trying to clean herself. Like, what are you doing?
Why are you doing that to the dog?
It was like that episode of The Simpsons. Like, Bart, are you ripping up the carpet? Yep.
Yep.
Why? Oh,
I don't know.
just but everyone's in bed now and I'm doing this podcast, so I'm in a much better mood. I'm doing good.
Yeah, man, first day back, it's rough.
Yeah, and like the school didn't really ease John back into being in school. They were just like, all right, let's get to work. Here's a bunch of homework for you too. Like, oh man.
Damn,
and I'm like,
dude.
I was all excited this morning because like I'm done being teacher. I don't have to be teacher anymore.
Yeah.
And then he came home with a bunch of homework, and you still have to do, special classes and stuff because they're not doing the specials. Like, oh, so I do still have to be teacher. I just have to do it now later in the afternoon. Awesome.
Now I have to interrupt the shit I was doing.
Yeah, but I did get everything done. Like, I got my work done today without being interrupted. It was wonderful. I went down to the basement, sat in front of my computer, I got all my work done, and then I went upstairs and I cleaned up some stuff. And then I actually sat on my butt and played a video game for a little bit. That was pretty cool.
Ooh, what'd you play?
Well, I unfortunately spent my time with the Metopia demo.
Ew. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I remember when they released Metopia on 3DS, and I thought to myself, I am not interested in this game. And then they announced that they were doing the HD remake of Metopia on the Switch, and I was like, that's a weird choice, but okay. Maybe there's something to this that I missed. And then they released the demo, and I'm sure you've seen it online. There was all these, they like upped the game of what you could make Miis.
Yeah.
Like, there's a dead-on strong bad. Like, you can literally make anything. You can make shapes and hats and change the skin colors to anything you want. People have made, like, Sonic the Hedgehog and Kratos and all kinds of stuff. Like, they've just made the Mii Maker what everyone's always wanted the Mii Maker to be since the Wii launched. And so I farted around with that for a couple minutes. Yeah, that was really cool. And then I played the game, and, like, not 3 minutes in was like, this is exactly what I thought it was. I am
it's
not
still
interested
shit.
in this.
I can just make stuff.
Yeah, like the Mii Maker is super cool, but this is I don't know, it's a turn-based RPG kind of thing, I think. I don't know, I didn't really even get past the first town. I started talking to people and it's like, the gag in this is that you're putting your friends' faces on all these characters in this RPG world. And right. I have exactly 4 Miis on my Switch, and I'm not spending the time to make a bunch of weird stuff. I can see who this is for, and who this is for is not me. So I just tagged out.
Yeah.
So
does not sound like a thing I would be into.
No, I wouldn't even sniff that if I were you.
Yeah.
Just doesn't even. I mean, I tried the demo. I put my time in, as much time as I'm going to. So I don't know. Some people seem to like it. Most people are just looking at it like, yeah, this game's kind of boring. So,
yeah, I mean, I just don't much see the point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can, like I said, I can see the purpose for some people. I can see why some people would think this is fun. If you're really into JRPGs, especially if you're a kid, like, I feel like John might get a kick out of it if he, like, knew how to make Miis better. But like, it seems like the kind of thing you really want to dedicate a whole buttload of time into creating a bunch of stupid looking Miis. And then the joke is this, here's this kind of funny game, and you're playing it as all these weird characters, like here's Spider-Man and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's not for me.
Yeah, that just does not sound fun.
No.
At all. But I mean, whatever. I'm not hating on anybody who does enjoy it.
Yeah, just very much not for me.
Yeah.
Did you play anything before I keep rolling through my lists?
God, not anything other than baseball? No, I've been grinding away at the show, and I still I am such a bad hitter this year, and it really, really makes me sad. It's just I don't understand. I think, God, my fucking allergies have been driving me bananas this week too. By the way, I don't know about the rest of you. But
I've
oh my
been
God,
tanked by allergies.
I'm just walking around most of the time. Hey, everybody, like, I'm okay. Like, oh my God, it's been fucking brutal. No, I'm such a bad hitter this year, and I don't understand because I've never been this bad at hitting in the game, but I'm really, really struggling. But whatever, like, I'm gonna keep plugging away, and I won a bunch of online games. I played a bunch of people online, and like I'm 3-1 right now. And the one game that I lost, man, did I lose bad. It was going well up until like the 7th inning, and then I just forgot how to play the game apparently, and gave up like 10 runs in the 7th inning, and it mercy ruled me. It was like, all right, no. You're done. we're done with you. And I was like, oh man, that does not feel good. That does not feel good. But I also had a couple people quit when I was playing them before I could get to 10 runs. So, that was kind of cool. And I did finally, I pulled my my first diamond card of the year, because the way you build your squad online is you buy virtual baseball cards, because that's what I need in my life. I can't find them in the real world, so I'll just buy these virtual cards.
Just get some NFTs. It's the next best thing.
I mean, that's basically what this is, and that kind of sucks, but kind
of.
Topps is selling NFTs on their website, by the way, which just feels fucking gross. I don't know why Topps selling fucking NFTs feels so much grosser than anybody else doing it, but it feels really gross. I don't care for it. But I pulled a diamond Bryce Harper, so I was like, all right, well, fucking sweet. So like my outfield in the game now is I have Bryce Harper in right field, Roberto Clemente in center, and Mickey Mantle in left. And I'm like, all right, I mean, that's fun. I'll play that. That's cool. So it's just such a good fucking game. It's just such a good fucking game, man. And like the craziest part is that I barely touched any of this stuff before this year, because the franchise, the roster vault, was fucked up until like Sunday. It finally got fixed where you could download rosters and shit. And I usually play franchise, and I was like, all right, well, I can't. They're gonna fix it, right? They'll get to it at some point. So whatever, I'll jump into these other modes. And it was like, man, I forgot how much other shit is in that game. It's fucking crazy. So that's what I've been doing. And like Puzzle and Dragons, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That goes without saying, obviously.
Water is wet.
Water is wet. The Pope does indeed shit in the woods.
Oh boy. Well, let's see. We are continuing to our progress through Metroid. We're playing Prime 2, and he's still into it. We haven't been playing as much, only because of scheduling. Mm-hmm. Especially, today was a little rough. And I'm running into a bit of a problem, which I had a suspicion I might, with the Switch, with the Wii U being in the living room, and it's with the Wii remote. And it's the reason that you never played through Prime Trilogy or Skyward Sword, because if the light's coming in the room in the wrong way, then the Wii remote just doesn't work. So I've got it figured out for the most part, but there are certain points of the day where it just can't be played, which really, really makes me sad, because I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Prime 2 is really good. I haven't played through that one since the only one I beat on the trilogy was Prime 1.
Okay.
I beat Prime 1 and Prime 2 on GameCube, and then I never finished Prime 3 at all. And so Prime 2 I haven't actually played through in a very long time, since it came out on GameCube, which... Excuse me. Wow. Excuse me 1 second here.
That's all right. You gonna live?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Darling, I remember if this is the end, I've loved you very much. Best line in fucking Downton Abbey.
I remember Prime 2. I've never watched it all the way through.
Lord,
have I never told you my Downton Abbey story?
No, I don't think so.
All right, first episode of Downton Abbey I saw was like one of the season finales, and
you might have told me this.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching it like, oh, this is a pleasant show, and like the guy's like, all right, I got a new job, we're gonna go to a new house, we got a new baby, everything's good, I'm gonna get my car, I'm gonna get a car accident and fucking die.
Fucking die.
And I was like, why do you watch this? This is awful.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It was
like, this was all pleasant and wonderful and happy, and then it was just like everything's horrible.
And then it wasn't. Yeah, it was one of the first episodes I watched. They're sitting there having dinner, and fucking Lord Grantham starts like coughing up blood at the table because he has an ulcer, right? But like he doesn't know that. He's just like, "Blah!" And he like spits blood all over at their fucking fancy dinner table, and he's on the floor like convulsing and covered in blood everywhere. And he looks at his wife and he goes, "Darling, if this is the end, I've loved you very much." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I say that shit to Tiff all the time now. Like, she loves it when I say that as soon as we get into the car to drive somewhere.
Fucking hell.
Darling, if this is the end, I've loved you very much. It's like, you're such a fucking dick. Like, yeah. I wanted to say something else, but Angie told me I'm not allowed. Anyway, that's an inside joke, kids.
Okay.
I was going to describe myself as something else.
Oh, right.
You know what I was going to say.
Yeah, no. Keep that
You
under
know.
wraps.
You know. Okay.
So I remember Prime 2 being like pretty hard.
Yeah.
There's especially a boss in the Torvis Bog I remember being a real big pain in my butt. But I remember when Prime Trilogy released that they marked it up even higher because they fixed some of that stuff. Like they made it a little bit less tedious to do certain fights. But it's been so long that I don't even remember it. Like I beat this boss today that was like really fun. It was I can't remember what it was called. It had a really cool name too. It was these like 3 worms, these giant worms that come out of the ground, and then they have this ball of evil phazon, some sort of energy in the middle, right? And so they keep like jumping in and out of the ground like the Lenmolas from Zelda.
Yeah.
There's these big sandworms that are jumping up and down, and you gotta blow up their armor and stuff, and then they'll gather together in the middle and shoot a bunch of stuff out at you. You dodge that, and then you shoot them in the mouth with a bunch of missiles to break off this like hard outer shell, and they go down to like try to eat you, but then you roll in the morph ball, let them eat you, drop a bunch of bombs inside of them, and then they spit you out and pass out. It's like, yeah, and it was a really cool boss fight. I had a lot of fun with it.
Isn't that that's Mary, Mungo, and Mitch, I think is their name.
Mary Mungo.
Mary, Mungo, and Mitch.
Yeah, that was it.
Those are them, name. Right?
Yeah, I used the scan visor, and it was Mary, Mungo, and Mitch.
It's like, that's fucking weird, but whatever.
Like, this not exactly what I figured this would be called, but hey.
But you do you, Metroid.
Right? It's made in Texas. What do I know?
Lots of people named Mary, Mungo, and Mitch in Texas. You don't fucking know. I've been there. I lived there.
You did.
That is accurate information from a first-party source.
So Prime 2 is great. Loving it, and I'm really looking forward to finishing this and actually finishing Prime 3. Like, he's not losing interest at all.
That's awesome.
He had an assignment in school today. When he brought home his paper, he was like, they're doing a whole poetry thing, and like it's things like happy like blank and strong like blank or whatever.
Yeah.
Is powerful like he wrote Diggernaut from Samus Returns. Brave like Samus Aran's. God, this is just awesome.
This is the best, and that teacher has no fucking clue.
No clue at all. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you should be.
So yeah, he's not losing interest, so I'm looking forward to getting, because right, all I have left is I'd say like 3/4 of Prime 2, or probably about a quarter of the way through. Then Prime 3, then Other M, and Federation Force.
Oh boy.
I mean, look, I've never played Federation Force, so I mean that game might be a ball. Like, as far as I know, that game might actually be really fun.
I
mean, have you played Federation Force?
No, I don't feel like I need to. I feel like it's
next
terrible.
level games, right? Like those guys made Mario Strikers and Luigi's Mansion. Like they don't make bad games.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
The biggest problem with Federation Force was it was so incredibly tone deaf, right? Like, who the heck wants to play this game at that time? Like, there hasn't been a Metroid game in ages, so we're just gonna make a weird chibi squad shooter for the 3DS. Like,
yeah, like that. That's just not. That's just not it. Like, you guys, you're missing the cutoff, man. It's something I'd like you to work on for next season.
I mean, I'm looking at the track record of next level games, right?
Yeah.
Like NHL Hits Pro.
Sure.
NHL Hits was a ball.
Yeah.
Mario Strikers Charged. Both phenomenal games. Spider-Man Friend or Foe. I don't remember that one.
I don't know that one. Do I know that one?
Something called Ticket to Ride, Jungle Speed. Punch Out for the Wii, which is nothing short of a masterpiece.
Yeah, no, that game's great.
Transformers Cybertron Adventures, Ghost Recon for the Wii.
Sure.
Captain America Super Soldier. So these guys remind me a bit of Tosei. They're like, we have these games we want to make, and then we have these other games that are going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But they did Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and Luigi's Mansion 3 and Federation Force. Like, I can't imagine it's going to be a bad game. And like that was kind of what I ran into with Metroid Prime Hunters. I just didn't assume it was going to be very well done, and then I finished playing it, and it was actually a pretty darn good game. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I hope for your sake that it's outstanding.
I don't think it'll be outstanding, but I can't imagine it being worse than Hunters. And Hunters was just fine. So even if it's pretty decent, which. But what I've come to understand it is, I mean, what's the meta score on this?
I don't know.
Let's see. No, that's a Wikipedia page for Metacritic. That's not what I'm after.
That's not it. That's not it. Swing and a miss.
Looks like it's sitting at... Wow, yeah, it's sitting at exactly average. It's at a 64 meta score and a 5.5 user score. So it seems like a perfectly average game. Though it's like the reviews are all over the map. There's like a bunch of people really liked it, and then a bunch of people really hated it. So
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Either way, it's probably not gonna piss me off as much as playing Other M again, but
probably not.
I mean, we'll see. Who knows? I remembered really enjoying playing Other M. I just didn't really enjoy the story of Other M at
learning
all.
Anything that Other M was trying to teach me.
Yeah.
Hated all of that.
God. Bad storytelling.
Bad. You should feel bad. You're bad and you should feel bad.
Right? I mean, you know what we got to do? We got to make this game take place on a ship. Sir, you did that already. Metroid Fusion, remember that one? It was the last one you directed. It was on a single ship with a bunch of... We did this. Like, yeah, I know. But what if we did it again?
But
we're going to call it the bottle ship.
What about Second Breakfast?
11sies? Anyways, something real stupid happened. I don't know if you have these already, and I don't even know if these are stuff you're interested in, but a bunch of the Lego stuff on Switch went on sale.
Oh, yeah?
And when I say sale, I mean like... So we were looking for our next game after we beat Marvel 3, right? Mm-hmm. We moved on to Captain Toad, but a couple of things we were looking into was the different Lego games. So I threw a couple of them on my wish list, and just for the sake of having it on my wish list to remember which ones I was looking for, I put the $85 complete edition of Lego DC Villains on my wish list, just because that was the one that was there. I just threw it on there. I'm not going to spend $85.
No, you better not.
That's insane.
You really better not.
So then I looked on my eShop thing because I like to look for sales. So I look on my wish list. That game was $14.99.
Done. Sold.
With all the DLC, the crazy full DLC edition, $14.99.
Yep.
It's like, are you kidding me? So I bought that, and then the same thing with the Marvel 2. I found that one a couple days later, just poking around. I saw it listed on the great deals. It was like $14.99 for this $70 collector's edition with all the DLC? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
okay.
that's not even a conversation at that point.
Exactly. Like, would I like to have these games physically? Sure. But for $14.99 for the Ultimate Editions or whatever, sure. Sign me the hell up. I'm in. So we haven't touched them yet. Because we're actually in the midst of Captain Toad, which is going very well. That's really cool. But yeah, so Marvel and Lego DC are probably what we're going to hit up after Captain Toad. And Captain Toad is super cool. Like, I liked that game a lot on Wii U, but they, just like Pikmin, they added full game co-op to it.
Right.
Which is what made me decide that this was worth actually buying again. Like, I didn't really want to buy this one again because it's, ultimately the same experience on Wii U. There's a couple of new levels that you can get in the Switch version, which I've always wanted to try, but it wasn't really enough for me to dive in and buy it again. Similar to what my situation with Donkey Kong, except Donkey Kong is not a game that Karen will ever play because it's insanely difficult, even when you're playing it in funky mode. Like, that's not fun for anyone but me. So I'm happy I got that one as a gift. But Captain Toad was A, on sale at Best Buy for like $8 off, and B, had the full co-op built into it. And so we played it on the first day, and it was a little awkward because the earlier levels aren't really, there's not a lot to them, so we're stepping on each other a whole lot.
Right.
But then the second night, we got to the more complex levels, and the co-op made such a difference because these are the levels. Now, I played through the whole game on Wii U, so I vaguely remember these levels, but they involve all this backtracking. Like, you got to walk across the stage, you got to hit this switch, and that'll open up something up over here so that you can do that, and then go back over to the other place that you can do that again. But we're just being like, all right, you stand there. I'm going to walk down here. So I'll like hold still. Then she'll tilt the camera so she can walk underneath, flick a switch. Then I'll take the camera controls back, walk across here. Like, we got into this groove of working together to solve these puzzles. And it worked out really well. Like, the game's really, really good in co-op. I'm so happy with it.
That's awesome. So I definitely I was really interested in that game because it looked really fun,
It's cool. It's got a very Mario 2 feel. There's definitely pulling turnips out of the ground and throwing them at Shy Guys, but it's all puzzles. It's not Mario Adventure in the least. And if you want to try it out, there is a free demo. Like, if you want to see if it's for you, that's definitely something you can do. But I like the game a lot. It's super clever. It's almost obnoxiously cute. But I mean, it's a game about Toad, so
sure,
that's going to be pretty silly cute to begin with. But no, man, that's a good one. That's a winner in my book. Another winner, Double Dragon Kunio-kun bundle went on sale.
Nice. For
$10, so I picked that up, and it's exactly what's written on the tin.
It is all of those things. Yeah,
it is exactly that. I played the little Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3, and they are exactly what they were. So it was cool. That was worth $10 to me to get those games and like the Super Dodgeball. I mean, a lot of that stuff was already on Switch Online, but like still. Double Dragon 3 isn't, and I love Double Dragon 3. So yeah. And it was $10, so I was into that. I am super stoked that I get to write the preview for Blaster Master 03 in the next Nintendo Force. I got that assignment, so I'm really excited.
That's not bad.
I get to write a preview on Blaster. That's how I pitched it to. I was like, look, if there's going to be any writing about Blaster Master 03, like 02 came out, but I wasn't on staff yet. I was still a contributing writer.
Yeah.
But like now I'm a staff writer. I was like, I'm a Blaster Master nut. So I would love very much to write something about Blaster Master 03. If the review comes in, I'm in. And then they assigned me a preview. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But probably the thing I wanted to talk about most, if you don't mind some spoilers.
It depends on what it is.
I've been playing Ori.
Okay, yeah, spoil away.
Okay, so Ori's great. And it just hit me. I'm getting towards the end of the game already, I think. It hit me with a plot twist that I did not see coming. That was like I told you before when I started playing it, the beginning was like a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's just got this heart-wrenching intro. Well, the plot twist was also kind of heart-wrenching, right? So in the beginning of the game, there's this, like, you're part of a tree or something. I don't really understand the details of the story. It just elicits a lot of feelings. And this giant evil-looking bird is just out to get you. Like, that's the thing that seems to be like, this is the bad guy. It's this giant, scrappy-looking, evil black bird.
It's just this
it just wants
fucking bird.
It wants you fucking dead. So
what a prick.
Exactly. And that's how the game frames it until you get to the part that I got to yesterday. It wants you dead because it's a bird of darkness, right? It exists in darkness, and your tree that you came from was spreading its light across the land.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
You found you come across a nest, like you were trying to sneak past the bird that's trying to kill you. And was this before or after that? Either way, you come across this nest with an egg, and you touch it, and you see everything that's happened from the bird's point of view. The bird is a mom.
Okay.
And as the light was spreading from your tree, like the mom was out getting food for the babies, and then the light came over to the nest and killed her kids.
Oh, shit.
So she's like flying back to her, like she gets this horrified look and flies back to her nest as quick as she can to try to save her kids. But the light got there first and killed all of her babies, except for one egg. So she's trying to kill you because she's just trying to protect her last kid. And I'm like, fuck.
Ouch.
What do I don't know where it's going next. Like, I'm still trying to revive the woods because the bird fucked up the tree, which ruined the darkness and plunged the entire forest into darkness and killed a bunch of other stuff.
Right, which isn't okay.
It isn't okay. But it's also kind of not okay that the tree's light killed her babies. And like,
no,
it wasn't like it was little baby birds screaming for their mommy, and then they disintegrated. And I was like, oh no!
Was it like The Crow? You've never seen The Crow, have you?
Which The Crow?
The first Crow with Brandon Lee.
Yeah, I've seen that many times.
Okay, quick
what
impression.
Part of that involves dead baby birds.
Quick impression for you. Caw, bang, fuck them dead.
Fuck them dead. Oh boy. Yeah, I love that movie.
One of the greatest lines ever written in cinema.
Seriously.
Caw, bang, fuck them dead. Oh, that guy rules.
Yeah, he was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
He is Guy of Glyphsborn or whatever.
I don't know his name. I just know him from those two things. No, I loved The Crew. The Crow.
I love The Crew, too. And The Craft. Sure, all those C movies.
Bring them on.
These movies are great. We're having a triple C feature. I'll fucking tell you what.
Gonna drink lots of orange juice.
Oh, my God. Sunny D.
Gotta get that vitamin C.
Gotta get that vitamin C from the D. Oh, Sunny D. Put a little D in your mouth. Like, oh. That's not a good slogan, guys. What are you doing?
No, you definitely missed the mark on that one.
Get some D in your ass. Like, oh my God, Sunny D. Jesus.
Settle down.
You guys are fucking raunchy. I'm into it. I'm almost there. Hold on.
So anyway, Ori's great. And I can't wait to see where else it's going. I have a couple of gameplay issues with it. Like, the Ori has some really weird inertia. I don't remember if I mentioned that last time. But I'm getting used to it, and you just get these cool powers. You get them relatively quickly. The map is really interesting, and the story just threw me for a loop. Like I said, it does this thing where it doesn't really fill you in on all the details. It's kind of similar to Hollow Knight in that respect, where it puts off this air of mythology without actually hitting you with all the mythology. And Prime 2 does that in a really great way too, right? Because Prime 2 settles down on the scanning stuff that you have to read, where it'll just say you'll scan the thing, and then it'll say lore has been added to your log. So you can read this entire story if you want to.
But you don't have to.
So it gives you that whole. I'm playing a lot of atmospheric stuff right now. That's what it comes down to.
You're a very moody teenager right now, Kris. I'm not sure what's going on.
Clearly. So I've
been listening to The Cure, Depeche Mode. It's fucking weird.
Love The Cure.
It's just me and Robert Smith fucking hanging out. Fridays, I am also in love.
I saw this great little video clip of Robert Smith getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and like this really excited reporter was like, "Hey, so you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame? Are you as excited as I am?" And he was like, "Well, judging by your response, probably not."
Oh, that's awesome. Cure is fucking great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Speaking of Hollow Knight, my buddy texted me a picture the other day with "I hate what you've done to me," and he had the 112% on Hollow Knight because he was like, "I'm looking for some good Metroidvanias," and he said that like 4 months ago. So I was like, "Have you checked out Hollow Knight? It's fucking great." He was like, "You're a fucking asshole, dude." I was like, "I didn't even go that hardcore, man. Jesus." That's a whole other thing.
Tell him to do Ori next.
Yeah.
I have to say, it made a really good follow-up to Hollow Knight. I don't know where I'm going next after I finish Ori, though. But I'm glad that I'm making myself play through the games that I've been sitting on for ages.
Yeah.
Because I said I was going to play Ori right after I finished Hollow Knight, but I wanted to give myself a little break, and then I did, and that break went too long. Now, granted, I haven't gotten my assignment for Nintendo Force yet, so who knows if I'm going to have something to review. But right now, I'm just going to keep plugging away on Ori, and I'm really digging it. Solid game.
All right, well,
you ready to do this?
I'm going to go ahead and say that's enough foreplay. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. All right, we're going to take ourselves a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to do our Stone Age starter kit for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And it was brutal, but I'm really happy with the way it came out. You are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, Kris, on an all-new, brand spanking fucking new Mutant Musings Evolution, Geekade show about the tragically just tears like Julia Roberts' ugly cry canceled animated series X-Men Evolution.
Now you say that, but every time I think about this show, every single time I think about this show, I think about the last episode.
You wrote it. I didn't say it. You wrote it.
Well, you embellished the Julia Roberts tears thing. I'm saying this show is tragically canceled.
I've never seen very much of it, which is not a fucking condemnation on the podcast at all. It's just a condemnation on me being shitty. It starts off kind of
okay, and then then it gets ridiculously good, including probably the best telling of the apocalypse story I've ever seen. And then the end of the show is Professor X having this vision of all the shit they're gonna do in the future, but they never do. They got Gambit joining up with the team, they got Jean getting Phoenix powers, they just go through all this shit. I'm like, can I see that please? It's remember the last, did you read the Mega Man comic book?
Yeah.
Remember the end of the Mega Man comic book? They're like, and check all this shit out. Guess it's never going to happen. So long.
Sorry.
No. Sorry. Commercials. Get back to it.
So anyway, Patty and Jonathan discussed the 3 episodes. That didn't work.
Discuss 3 episodes. Sorry, not the 3 episodes.
It says the 3. I'm just reading what you write, like Ron Burgundy. There's the problematic episode, African Storm. That sounds problematic. I haven't seen it, but that doesn't sound okay. Lance's chance at a redemption in Joyride, and the reason that Patty loves Jean Grey in Mindbender. Jonathan discovers something about Mesmero's abilities as Patty discovers Cinema Verite. How does Patty feel about Rihanna? I mean, hopefully strongly and supportively because she's awesome. Why is Jonathan terrified of clowns? Because they're fucking horrifying. This is grown man, like, his job is to hang out with children. It's fucking weird. Find out, and I'm just going to read it the way you wrote it. Find out in Mutant Musings Evolution, Episode 9, Stormed Off.
Look, half that commercial was word for word just me copy-pasting the episode description that Jonathan wrote. Because
That's
Jonathan's
fine.
a very funny guy, so why wouldn't I just copy his words?
That's
the
right.
problem is that I didn't do a good job of writing the words around it.
Find out
Because
on
he
in.
says, find out on a new episode of Mutant Musings, and I no, it should say find out in this specific thing for the point of our commercials. But then I forgot to edit out the word on because I'm stuck at my job. Next, defying logic and reason, I've decided to start yet another new podcast because I've discovered that podcasting with friends is the best way I know to keep in touch with people since I was kind of antisocial even before COVID started.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. People, ew, gross.
Right?
Fuck away from me.
My relationship with Dan has been great, so...
Yeah, I mean, this has been the best friendship I've had in years. I'll never have to fucking see you. It's great.
So I've teamed up with two of my very best friends, Paul Giroux and Sean Doyle, for a monthly show about movies. For our first episode, the three of us watched Mortal Kombat. Now, sure, you heard what I had to say about that movie on this very podcast last week, but if for some reason you want to hear even more of my thoughts, as well as those of my friends, this show is for you. Check out A Theater Near You, Episode 1, Mortal Kombat. Available now and monthly on geekade.com.
That's very exciting. Sean Doyle is very, very funny. I don't know Paul, so fuck Paul, but Sean is great, and you should subscribe just for that.
Paul was my best man at my wedding.
I wasn't invited, so, like, whatever. It's fine. I mean, I know I was living in Texas at the time. It's still not an excuse. I'm still bitter.
You didn't receive an invitation, but I'm pretty sure we spoke about it. Like,
we didn't.
You can't come to this thing, right? No, I live in Texas.
Yeah, but still, you still make the effort, Kris. You still send me a card so I could be like, fuck you, I'm not coming to this.
But I'm pretty sure you told me, fuck you, I'm not coming to this.
I'm pretty sure that was how I responded. So I'm getting married. It's like, oh, that sucks.
It's like,
anyway.
I talked to you about it. You're like, I can't come. It's like, you're in Texas. You probably can't come to this, right? And you were like, no.
I know. Somebody could have, like, video called me in or something like that. We could have had a fucking Zoom wedding, but whatever.
I don't think we could do that back then.
There was FaceTime.
Really? When the hell did I get married?
I don't know. I wasn't there. We just established this. I have no fucking frame of reference. Block that horrible memory from my mind.
I'm sure you were real broken up about it.
I was. God, I was in the bathroom fucking Julia Roberts crying. Again.
Listening to The Cure.
Listening to The Cure. It's me and Robert Smith. Friday's Christmas in love, I guess.
Blasting pictures of you.
That was terrible. Oh, man. Fucking wearing eyeliner and shit. It was a weird fucking... And in Texas, that shit didn't go over well.
What, were you doing it in public?
Oh, of course. I was so distraught.
Public showers are a thing.
They are.
Texas.
You see, again, you don't know shit about Texas. I've lived there. First-hand information.
I've been there.
Nah, you haven't. You were in Austin. That doesn't count.
I also went to the Houston airport once.
Oh, God, Houston
Me
is
and
the
Paul,
hottest.
as a matter of fact.
Again,
we went
fuck
there.
Paul.
We were visiting a friend of ours, and we had a layover in Texas. It was only a couple of minutes, but we walked through the airport, we found a plant, and we kicked it so that we could say we messed with Texas.
That seems about right. God, Houston legitimately is the hottest I have ever been in my entire life. I've never been hotter than the time I spent in Houston. I had to go do a work thing up there, and I was like, oh my God, like we took the kids to the zoo, and we were like 20 minutes into the zoo, and like they were 5 or 4 at the time, which was their favorite thing in the world. And they looked at me and they were like, this is some fucked up, repugnant shit. And I was like, you're 5. Why do you know those words? And they were like, we listen to you all the time, asshole. Get us the fuck out of here. Look at how red we are, you dick. Let's go home. Shit. It was seriously hottest and muggiest. Oh my goodness, it was awful. Fuck. Anyway.
I would say that every day is the hottest you've ever been.
Oh, it's certainly true. Man, especially after COVID. Quarantine time has done my body wonders. What? Vianetta says 6 servings. Eat all the dicks. Every one of them. Suck a bag of dicks. Just...
A satchel of Richards, as it were.
A satchel of Richards. You just write that one down. I think that wins. Anyway, finally, are you... I don't even know who we're talking to. Any of you looking for a way to kill some time during your afternoons? Do you enjoy watching people play video games, unlike Bill Maher, apparently? Sure you do. So you should tune in to Nintendude NJ's Twitch streams. He's recovered from his loss on our most recent trivia episode where I fucking whooped his ass. It was brutal. It was a savage beat. It was disgusting. Just, ran away with the competition. And he's streaming games like Neon Abyss, Double Dragon Neon, and more games that don't have the word neon in the title. Which is kind of upsetting, because
what's the point?
Yeah, really, it's the Neon Cast. So make your fingers type twitch.tv / whatever the fuck / Nintendude NJ and give old Mike a follow. It's the right thing to do.
For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com.
3 commercials, 28 minutes of content. How the fuck is that possible? There's 12 lines written here. It's fucking ridiculous.
And we are back. So here we are for the second in a 2-year process of
22 months to go. Count them down. Who's counting?
These are the Stone Age starter kits. Basically, we are presupposing, am I using that word right? I don't care.
Yes.
That,
well done.
That you got a game system. The system is yours, and any controllers you may need for any games that you need to play are yours. You have $100 to spend on games. We checked our prices on pricecharting.com for the most part. I think I did more double checking this time between I used my game collecting app GameEye and then cross-referenced with price charting to make sure that I wasn't off.
I did less checking. I just made up all of these prices.
So your list is perfect.
Oh, it's great. I have 178 games that you guys are going to get. It's going to be marvelous. Strap in.
All right, so this whole thing was your idea. I still think that you should go first. So we both made lists, and we'll both take turns talking about what we put on our list. So what's your first game?
Well, first of all, how many games do you have?
9.
All right, I have 11. So
okay.
Yeah, because man, I was making changes. Literally, the last change I made, I'm looking at my Google Doc right now. The last edit to this was at 8:27.
Nice.
We started recording at 8:30. So, man, all right, game number 1 on my list for $10 is what I found it at, is fucking Blaster Master.
Interesting. I had Blaster Master at 13.
Huh. All right. I had it at 10.
Let me look this up.
To be fair, I did this like a month and a half ago is when I did this NES list.
Yeah,
So-
right now it's up to $13.29.
Well,
so
fuck
I was
that.
gonna say I could drop my I could get another $3 and let's go. But I'll stick with 13. You can keep your 10 though.
All right, yeah, I legitimately, like, I did, when we had this idea, I sat down and I did Atari 2600, NES, and Master System all, like, in 2 or 3 days, like a month and a half ago, so... Anyway, I had Blaster Master at $10 because it's fucking Blaster Master, right? Mm-hmm. It's when you're looking back at like NES games, it's you want to get, you've got $100, right? So I wanted to get some games that had not just length to them for the sake of length, but also had some replayability as well. And I find Blaster Master to be one of those games that is just infinitely replayable. Right? Mm-hmm. You're going to spend a decent amount of time with it, but it's just so fun to go through, and it's so weird and quirky, and just perfectly captures, I think, so much of what made the NES unique, that I feel like it's $10 well spent.
Completely agree. Blaster Master is also on my list, but it was marked at $13 when I added it. Mostly because I made my list yesterday or the day before, I think. But I was still tweaking it today. Blaster Master is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite games ever. But specifically, if we're talking for NES games, the actual type of game wasn't actually birthed on the NES. Though, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that the Metroidvania started with Metroid. Though there's arguments to be made for stuff like Pitfall 2 on 2600 and whatnot.
Sure.
To just trace the actual roots of it. But it came into its own on the NES, right? With Metroid for NES and to an extent Castlevania 2. Although Castlevania didn't really jump into the Metroidvania part of it until Symphony of the Night, was where they really got good at it by kind of more or less copying the Super Metroid formula. But regardless, Blaster Master is an early example of a Metroidvania type game, and it is one that is done just excruciatingly well. The way the world interconnects is so intelligently designed, and the way the power-up structure works on how you get from point A to point B. It also still stands. This was Sunsoft really firing on all cylinders.
They really were.
The visuals and the audio, Naoki Kodaka's soundtrack in Blaster Master is just one of the best on the platform. And the sound quality is extraordinary. The graphics are extraordinary. The control feels great. It's a very unique game, even amongst all of its sequels. Until Blaster Master Zero, there really wasn't a proper worthy sequel to Blaster Master until Blaster Master Zero.
And it just holds up.
It does. It is still fun to play to this day. It's just an amazing game. Just 5 thumbs up. It's one of my favorites. Absolutely made the list.
There was a lot of this, a lot of NES games as I was looking back at them, of like, all right, well, like, this would be cool for nostalgia's sake, but like, if I'm recommending somebody get this and experience the NES, like, am I really going to recommend Cobra Triangle? You know what I mean?
I had a similar thought. I had it on my list, but I had to take it off because as awesome as it is, and it is awesome. It's a fun game. But it is so brutally difficult, you'll never beat it without a Game Genie. And at a certain point, you got to think, like, for my thinking for Blaster Master was like, well, this was the birthplace of Metroidvanias, but I can't in good faith recommend Metroid over something like Blaster Master. Also, you have the way that Blaster Master merges two different genres with the top-down and the side-scrolling stuff.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of great games that do that as well, but at the price of something like Guardian Legend, which is another fantastic example of the way these games could work with the two different genres meshed together, Blaster Master's at $13 was just a better bang for the buck.
Agreed.
It's a perfect choice.
All right. Do you want me to give another one since you have less? And
I just talked about Blaster Master for 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Second game on my list. And it made it over mostly because it's just cheaper. Dragon Warrior. The original Dragon Warrior at $8 made it over Final Fantasy because that game is stupid expensive.
Yeah, it is.
It's stupid how fucking expensive that game is. And I feel like if you are getting an NES for the first time and you haven't played these games, You want a solid, authentic RPG experience, like traditional old school RPG. And Dragon Warrior is great, right? Dragon Warrior, obviously, it has been around since the original NES. It is still incredibly popular. It is, if not rivaling at all times, more popular than Final Fantasy is in Japan. And it's a brilliant little game. It's going to keep you busy for a long time. It was $8. Fuck yeah. Love Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, this one didn't make my list, mostly because I didn't personally get into RPGs until Super Nintendo. I spent a decent chunk of time with Dragon Warrior, but I also didn't find... I find this game to be very historically important, but I don't find it very fun to play now, in particular. Like, there's so many things you have to do in that game that are very cumbersome, and... but I respect you wanting to put it on your list. Absolutely. It just didn't make mine.
I didn't think it was going to. I mean,
music, though.
Let's be honest. I wanted to put Final Fantasy on here,
but that's $24.
Yeah, yeah. Just can't do it.
I couldn't justify putting that much, and I don't even like the original Final Fantasy all that much. I think if you're going to get into either of those franchises, going back to the very beginning like that is a fun experiment, but it's not. I don't think it's a good way to get into those things because they got so much better later.
So much better, absolutely.
Any hoosers?
All right, fuck it, I take it back.
No, it's a good thing.
What else do I have that's $8 on here? Excite Bike, fuck you. Put Excite Bike on. No, I'm just kidding.
My next pick would be just an excellent bang for your buck, and it's all of $4. The triple pack of Mario, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet.
Yep, that's on my list as well. Except I had it down lower because I had Super Mario Brothers first in the title.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, mine's not alphabetical. So yeah, Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, World Class Track Meet on one package. It's a phenomenal cart. It's Super Mario Brothers is kind of like, yes, you can play Super Mario Brothers on any platform, but I feel like until you've actually played it on an NES with an NES controller, you haven't properly played Super Mario Brothers. Like, That game was designed for a CRT, and it plays and looks and sounds so distinctly NES. It's fantastic. And then you've got Duck Hunt, which is a classic target shooting game. It won't last you forever. It's just great. It's a good use of the zapper.
Infinitely replayable.
Exactly. Especially you get a second player in there to be moving the ducks around on the controller too. That game's a lot of fun. It makes for a great multiplayer experience. And then you've got World Class Track Meet, which is another awesome multiplayer experience. You just bust out the stupid power pad and you're running around in this silly game, and it's a very funny party game. It really is. It's a lot of fun to play. I was just playing it with my kids over the summer last year. It's just fun. It's still fun. So that's for $4. It's easily the best value on on the list.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You're getting 3 games for $4, and it's one of those things where if you have an NES and you don't get some flavor of Super Mario Brothers, like, what are you even doing with your life?
No, exactly, and
you have to have it somewhere. We all know I'm not a fan, but it has to be there.
It has to be there, and like even for you not being a fan, Duck Hunt and Track Meet are probably worth the $4, right? Because
I would argue Duck Hunt alone would be worth the $4.
Absolutely, but you have to get this triple pack because the double pack of Mario Duck Hunt is $6.29,
which is crazy.
Because that one's more common.
Yeah, regular Mario is like $8, $7 or something like that right now, which is crazy,
completely bananas. But this triple
we
pack,
use those as
$4
coasters in my house.
Like the Mario Duck Hunts, because they were selling for 10 cents a piece at Funko Land back when I worked there. It was awesome.
You just used to hand them out to people, like, here you go. That's fun. It's just Anyway,
what's next?
All right, so next in my alphabetical list, because you did yours alphabetically last time. No, apparently you're not. For the what I would argue is the bargain basement price of $5, a game that we have talked about quite a bit, that we both kind of played when we were younger, but came back to later and were like, oh no, this is actually fucking dope. Would be Legacy of the Wizard.
Oh, good call. That almost made my list. Really thought about that one.
For $5, it's a great game. It's a unique experience. You know, you've got cool characters, a cool story, some ridiculous puzzles to figure out, but there's so much fun to be had in that game as you work your way through and find your way through. It looks great. It plays great. It sounds great. It's just an outstanding little game. And for $5, man, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's a really good value. It's a confusing game. It's definitely the kind of thing you would want to look up a walkthrough on. The only reason it didn't make my list was because of Blaster Master. Because I figured it's close enough in type of game. You know, it's an adventure game that you need to go through and kind of map your way through.
Yeah.
And it was close enough that that's what pushed it off my list, because I wanted to try and hit as many different kinds of games as possible. But it's a stellar pick. It's such a cool game. It's pretty overlooked. And just as a general thing, you can get it on the Switch now. It's part of one of the Namco Archives collections, which are really bizarre because they're not arcade games. They're NES ports of arcade games.
Which is a super weird
It is a weird collection. I'm super glad it exists.
Yeah, no,
it's really
definitely
cool to have that stuff. I picked up both of them up on sale a while back just because, like, well, okay, this one's got the crazy NES remake of Pac-Man Champion Edition. Yeah. And the other one had Legacy of the Wizard on. I was like, that done, sold. Absolutely buy those for $5 a pop. But yeah, no, that's a great call. Great pick.
Yeah, great game.
All right, my next pick, I figured one of the things that the NES did really well, in my opinion, is a lot of different sports games. And I love NES sports games because they didn't hit that stride of being like really into simulation and overly complex. And so I had to pick my favorite one of those, especially because you want to have that multiplayer aspect, because that's another one of the great things about the NES is local multiplayer. So I found for $5 one of my favorite games on the platform, Blades of Steel. It's a really fun hockey game. It's still just as fun today as it was back in the old days. It's got this really cool digital voices. It's got the fights in it. It looks great. It's classic Konami. So the sound and the visuals are really just like, I mean, Konami back in the day was really like the Activision of their time. Like Activision on 2600 was just like, okay, well, Atari's doing this. This is what we're doing. And that's where Konami was just showing them how it's done on the platform, really just going above and beyond. And Blades of Steel is such a fun game. Whether you're a fan of hockey or not, it's the kind of thing that you can really just wrap your head around the rules of real easily, because it's a simplified version of hockey. And it's super fun to play. Great game.
And that was on my list. It was one of the things that got cut at 827.
Nice.
To make room for something down there at the bottom.
I re-alphabetized my games, by the way. So
okay, good.
Everything
Thank
else
God.
will be in alphabetical order for you.
Thank God. I waffled back and forth between Blades of Steel and ice hockey.
But ice hockey's way more, right?
No, ice hockey, I saw it for $5 when I did the list. So.
Oh, shit. What? Oh, ice hockey's $3.72 now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'd still pick Blades of Steel. I'm more of a fan of Blades of Steel than ice hockey.
Sure.
I love ice hockey.
It's great.
Like, I love that game, but if I had to pick, I like the bigger character sprites in Blades of Steel. I like the fights. I just like the way it feels. I like the weird voiceovers. I love Blades of Steel.
Why pissed his pants? Why did he piss his pants? That's weird.
Seriously, though, $3.72 for ice hockey on NES? That's insane. That game's great.
Yeah, that game is great. Great game. All right, next on my list, because I had to, it was the 80s, and ninjas were literally fucking everywhere.
It was gross. They were just fucking everywhere.
Were just fucking everywhere. Be like, oh my God.
Put that in your pants.
Keep it in your gi.
Gi. There you
go. Fuck. Yeah, come on, Chris. It was culturally insensitive of you, I think. But I couldn't fit on my list Ninja Gaiden because it was $14. So I was like, all right, fuck. I have to get some sort of martial arts action game on there. So I went with what I think is kind of an underrated gem, if you will, on the NES, and that would be the Legend of Kage for $8. I really like the Legend of Kage. I know not everybody does. I feel like you hate this pick.
I mean, I don't hate it. You do you, man. I can't recommend that game as one of the representatives of the NES. I just can't. Even for the price. Like, no.
I don't know that I feel good about it.
I would have spent the extra money on Ninja Gaiden, to be honest with you, which right now has changed even since yesterday. Ninja Gaiden now is at 12 for the first one and 15 for the second one, which is not at all what I had when I looked it up the other day. So
I feel like I could have made some wiggle room to get $12 in there. But I don't know, man. I really, really enjoy The Legend of Kage. It's got weird physics, but I like the way it plays. It's
a neat game.
It's a neat little game.
It's a
like
neat, weird game.
I like that game way more than I know a lot of people do, but whatever. It's on my list. I didn't feel great about it, but it's on there.
God, Ninja Gaiden Shadow for Game Boy is $58 loose.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
This is so hard. And like I really did. I waffled between Legend of Kage and Kung Fu. Kung Fu is great.
Fu. Yeah.
Kung Fu's also $8, but it's just so damn short.
Yeah, but it's see, I would approve of that one more because it's such a unique game. That's up to $9.49 now.
All right, well, fuck it. I'm putting Kung Fu. I am retroactively putting Kung Fu on my list right now. I'm changing it as we speak because Kung Fu is great. I feel like it's got a better personality and more replayability. Like I've played that more than Legend of Kage. I'm sure there's more to Legend of Kage, but man, there is.
Kung Fu is just awesome. That game just rules.
Yeah. All right, Kung Fu. You're right. Thank you. I needed that. I needed somebody to talk me off that ledge.
Well, speaking of beating folks up, my next pick, this was another tough one to land on, but I felt that it was important to have another two-player experience. I really wanted to put Ninja Turtles 2 the arcade game on there, but I believe that one's shot up quite a bit. Turtles 2, let me just double-check this one to see where I landed on. Turtles 2 for NES. Yeah, Turtles 2 for NES is $15.48. That was kind of a rough one. So
yeah, $15 is like, that's a hard commitment.
It is. It's a big chunk of your budget, and my pick isn't a big difference. To be honest with you, I went with Double Dragon 2.
Okay.
Because having a 2-player beat 'em up is a great thing to have on the NES, and if you can't put Contra on your list, which
you can't,
it's
$32.
I mean, even Super C is $20.
Yeah, can't do it.
Like, I just couldn't justify it. So I went with Double Dragon 2, which is a great game. It's a really cool 2-player beat 'em up. It's a great co-op play. It does get a little dicey with the platforming later, but it's got a great soundtrack. It's got a great personality. And you can beat the crap out of each other if you want. You can turn it on friendly mode, and game A is you can't hurt each other. Game B you can, and
yeah,
it's just got a lot of really good stuff going for it. It's got some cool mechanics where you can time your buttons and do these like really crazy special attacks, like the one-hit kill knee move and stuff. Double Dragon 2 is great. It's also like referenced very often because it's Double Dragon 2 The Revenge, and it's such a product of its time. It's great. I love Double Dragon 2. I was obsessed with Double Dragon when I was a kid, And as much as I love the first one, it's an interesting game, but it doesn't have that co-op aspect.
Right.
Double Dragon 2 fixes that, but Double Dragon 3 has the co-op, and it's got arguably better graphics and stuff, but it's also obscenely hard. It's one death and that's it, game over. Like Double Dragon 2 is just a more well-balanced game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's got like the neat story segments and stuff in between. Like Double Dragon 2 is great. It was a toss-up between this and Turtles 2 the arcade game, to be honest with you, but I feel like the actual fighting feels better in Double Dragon 2. It's a close call, but for the extra couple of bucks, which really, I mean, when you're doing this, those couple of dollars mean everything.
They really
my
do.
List came down to 99, so I had wiggle room for like $1, and it wasn't enough to bump me up to Turtles 2. So
yeah,
Double Dragon 2 it is.
All right, my list came down to 100 exactly, and this one, it broke my heart to do it because it is not my favorite in the franchise, but it was a $5 difference between 2 and 3. So the most expensive game that I have on my list is Mega Man 3.
Wow.
At $20. Because Mega Man 2 is $25.
That it is.
And that $5 difference, like you just said, that is all the difference in the world. Like, is it better to have Mega Man 3 and Legacy of the Wizard over Mega Man 2?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially since I think 3 is the better game, but...
No, I know you do, but, like, is it better to have those two games, right? I have another game that's coming up in a minute that's $5. Like, it made more sense to me to have the two games and leave Mega Man 2 off the list, even though it broke my fucking heart to do it. I mean, because you know how I feel. But Mega Man 3 is an outstanding game. Like,
and that's the same way I feel about Mega Man 2. It's a freaking masterpiece.
Yeah, you're arguing 3, 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're not arguing between, like, I mean, Mega Man 3 is like a 4, you know, like, it's a 1 and 1A kind of situation.
Yeah.
Mega Man 3 is fucking great.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
It really is. It's one of my favorite games ever.
Ever, right? And if you're going to have an NES and you got to have Mega Man in there somewhere.
I agree.
I mean,
There's
because
no Mega Man on my list.
I left so many other things off. I left so many other things off that I was like, I have to have Mega Man on there. Because it's just, Mega Man just is the NES, right? Like, it's just so fucking identifiable with that system. And it's just such again, the replayability factor is there. You know, you're going to get your $20 worth with Mega Man 3. Just no question at all. The Robot Masters are great. The level design is great. The control is just fucking tight as a drum.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to 23 now, which is where it was when I saw it.
See, you should have done this a month and a half ago.
Yeah. 2 is still at 30, but yeah, it was... but even that, I mean, looking at a $7 difference, you know, like, it's all the difference in the world, man. Yeah.
Mega Man 3 is fucking great.
Really wanted to include something Mega Man on my list. I couldn't get there. I wanted to so badly, but I couldn't justify removing these other things to get to it. But yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about how Mega Man 3 is one of the best games ever made. It's damn near flawless in design. I just love it to death.
It's brilliant.
It gutted me to not put it on my list. Like, it just broke my heart. But it was, I knew, like, right from the get-go that Mega Man just wasn't going to happen. I looked at the prices, like, there's no way I can cut out enough other stuff to fit Mega Man on my list. So, bless your heart for doing it, though. You made it. You made it happen.
Yeah, well, that's how you end up with shit like Kung Fu and Legend of Kage. It's because you have to cut some other shit out to get Mega Man on there.
You do. Well, I did not cut Ninja Gaiden, but I went with Ninja Gaiden 2. This was a tough call because I think Ninja Gaiden 1 was like $1 more. Let me see where it's at now. I have Ninja Gaiden 2 at $13. Ninja Gaiden right now, the first Ninja Gaiden's at $12. I could theoretically buy myself another $1 if I swap out Ninja Gaiden 2 or 1 for 2. Ninja Gaiden 2 Dark Sword of Chaos is now at 15. I wrote it at I had it at 13. Either way, I'm sticking with my first choice. Yeah. Ninja Gaiden 2 at $13 was where I landed. And I do think I like Ninja Gaiden 2 more than Ninja Gaiden 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I know there's definitely people out there who prefer the first one, and I don't begrudge them that. I thought the story was so cool, especially as a follow-up to the first one, but even as something starting like that, God, they're both so great. The way that both games start, like the whole, ninjas in a field and the sword and whatnot is super cool. Like, man, I gotta, you know what? I gotta change it. I gotta change it to Ninja Gaiden 1, and I'll tell you why. Because if this is your first experience with Ninja Gaiden, 2 carries so much more weight if you've played 1.
It does.
I was looking at it when I was putting together this list, I was looking at it purely from a gameplay standpoint, and I think that Ninja Gaiden 2 plays better than Ninja Gaiden 1, especially in like the fairness factor and whatnot later in the game.
Sure.
Ninja Gaiden 1 is just so infuriating. However, playing this game now, if you're gonna do it with a Game Genie or something, do whatever you got to do. But if you can make it through this game, just watching that story unfold is so incredibly cool. And then after you beat it, beautiful cutscenes, right? Especially considering the tech at the time, but even not considering the tech at the time, it's still so good looking. Like,
yeah, it's great.
Dr. Smith's face always bugs me out. Like, that looks so like a real person. That's so crazy to me for a freaking NES game. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden is so cool. And then you play Ninja Gaiden 2, and it picks up of like, oh, Jikayo failed. And you're like, oh, this guy was in charge the whole time? There was like a second secret? Oh, this is so freaking cool. Ninja Gaiden for NES is so good. Yeah, I'm gonna rescind my statement and of Ninja Gaiden 2 and change it to Ninja Gaiden 1, because you just got to start there. That's where you have to start. Double Dragon 2, you don't need to start with Double Dragon 1.
No, you don't really need the story in Double Dragon. Like, oh, some dude punched your girlfriend. Like, okay.
And like, you don't even need the story. The first NES Double Dragon was like, your brother was the head of the Shadow Warriors or something. Your brother, Jimmy Lee, was the Shadow Boss. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous. And then he was like reformed for Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. Whatever. Yeah, who cares? It's dumb. A fun beat 'em up game. Ninja Gaiden 2, though. Ninja Gaiden 2 is phenomenal, but Ninja Gaiden 1 is also amazing, and it's such a quintessential NES experience as far as like what you could do with storytelling on this primitive hardware. And for $12, nailed it. So I'm at 98. You tell me your next game. I was going to see if I can find something good for $2.
All right. Well, my next game is the second most expensive title on my list, but I had to have it on there. And we've mentioned it once already, but I had to have Metroid on there. And I had Metroid at $17.
All right.
So
it's a bold move. I appreciate it.
It's Metroid.
Yeah.
Like, it was, and again, it came down to, like, I had to cut another big one that I could have, if I cut Mega Man 3 and Metroid, I could have had another one on there. And, I mean, maybe I should have, I don't know. I feel like getting Mega Man 3 and Metroid is a better use of your money than the one other game that I don't know if is on your list, so I'm not going to name it right now. But, I mean, come on, it's Metroid. Like, is that the best way to play that game? Absolutely not.
But it is a quintessential NES experience. We talked about this a lot with the Atari episode, with something like Adventure and mapping your game out. Mapping out Metroid is it's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage. The only reason I didn't include it was for that price. If I'm including it and Blaster Master does most of what Metroid does better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But it's not Metroid.
But it's not Metroid. You're right. It's not Metroid. But we've also talked about plenty of times on the show that if you're going to play Metroid, you start with Zero Mission, not NES Metroid.
You do.
So it's kind of a tough call. I would never begrudge you for putting Metroid on your list. It didn't make mine, and I've made my case for it. But yeah,
how much is Zero Mission going for at this point?
That's a great question. I haven't even considered
that. I probably should have looked up before I decided to put this on there.
Oh my God.
That's what I figured.
No way.
How much?
Loose $73.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. So
madness.
I mean, that's not going to make our Game Boy Advance list. It just isn't.
It's not. Holy crap! Even the Japanese one's 55.
Yeah, that's just not making the list.
When did that happen?
Yesterday, maybe.
What
Dude,
the hell?
Loose. I mean, I just pulled this up here to look at it, and I just did a quick little let me high to low this. Aria of Sorrow, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, loose, $110. Anybody want to buy that off me? I will sell it to you for $100. Not even fucking kidding. Send me Car Battler Joe. I got that, $94.50. Like, you fucking Harmony of Dissonance, $80. Like, are you guys fucking nuts? Don't you dare spend that much money on that game. They're brilliant, but yeah. So all right. So I'm
Circle of the Moon, which is the bottom tier, still a great game, is still $30.
Yeah.
Man, Game Boy Advance is going to be freaking impossible.
Impossible. Yeah. We might.
When the hell did this happen? No, you know what? I'm in. I'm up for the challenge because there's a lot of stuff on Game Boy Advance. It will suck to leave
Urban
off.
Yeti is $60, and that's definitely making the list.
Was that Game Boy Color?
So I got $40 to play with. Oh, I'm looking at Game Boy Advance.
Oh wow, yeah. What's the one I'm thinking of for Game Boy Color? Yeah, whatever.
Fusion is $44.
Yeah, I just
Sun
looked at that.
$40. This is going to be. Oh man, I have a lot of expensive Game Boy Advance games. I just found out together with all of you though, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm afraid to look at what my Game Boy Advance section looks like on Game Eye.
I feel even better about including Metroid because you're not going to get Metroid any other time in this exercise that we're doing.
Holy shit, my GBA collection's worth almost $3,000.
Jesus H. Christopher.
Guess how many games that is?
4 games.
46 games at $2,958.
My God.
Aria of Sorrow is my most expensive. Aria of Sorrow Complete, $250.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about how the Game Boy Advance might be the best system.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
It might be the best.
There's just this is stupid.
We'll get to that argument in 2 years. That's what we'll do after this.
Hopefully this stuff drops in price in the next 2 years, because I'm looking at even on my list, like the really low end stuff is like $19. Holy shit. All right. Whatever. Ah, boy. All right. So, all right. Good call. I'm into your choice for Metroid. I still stand by mine of not having it on there, but I'm into your choice. All right. This next one I'm sure is on your list. It's such a unique game. And it has to be, it's one of the NES games. You gotta lose the celebrity endorsement to make it more affordable, but Punch-Out for $16 is the next game on my list.
When I looked it up, it was 20 and it did not make the cut. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah, $15.95 is where it's at now. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is at $40.
Yeah, but, no. When I looked up the original Punch-Out, or the non Mike Tyson Punch-Out, it was $19 is what I have on my list.
Damn.
And it's fucking Punch-Out, man.
You want to call last minute audible? I would allow it, but it's at $16 if you want to call last minute audible. But yeah, it's Punch-Out. It is. I
either have to take 2 games off, or I got to take off Metroid.
That's a really interesting question. Is Punch-Out a more important game to have than Metroid? I would argue that it is, because there's nothing else like it.
You're not wrong.
Punch-Out's completely unique. There's no other game that plays like it, especially on these lists. Whereas you already have Blaster Master on your list. You know what I mean? You have a Metroidvania. Now, granted, you're talking about Metroid. It's an experience. But am I going straight up comparing apples to apples, NES game, Punch-Out versus Metroid? What would you rather play, and what will you get more playtime out of? I have to give it to Punch-Out. It's $16.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. But I mean, I can't do it. I can't. I noticed that you. Well, I won't say it yet. All right.
I mean, yeah. I'll just continue talking about Punch Out.
Yeah, no, it's Punch Out, man. Like, yeah,
it's the Mike
so
Tyson
unique.
endorsement
It's so
is
different.
super cool. But it, as we've learned over time, like, that's cute, but it's not what makes that game. Like, everything else makes that game. That's a neat cherry on top. Fighting Mr. Dream will never be as cool as fighting Mike Tyson. It just will never be.
No.
But the rest of the game's identical, and that's where the real meat and potatoes is. And Punch Out's amazing. It's this weird reflex test, especially if you're playing it on original hardware, like, especially on a CRT. Like, it's the ultimate twitch reflex game. It's got such amazing visuals for that platform. Like, the way they made those characters out of multiple sprites and just making that stuff happen, like, the way they made that game work is nuts. And it's phenomenal. I had to have it on the list, especially when I saw it at 16. Like, it was under $20. This was the last minute edition. I took off, God, what did I take off for this? I took off like Gradius and Cobra Triangle, I think.
Oh, that hurts
for this, and it was worth it, I think, because I kept thinking about what you were saying about how, like, how do you have this list and not have Punch Out? I was like, you're fucking right. It's Punch Out. You've got to have it. It's Punch Out. It's so unique, and there's just nothing else like it. So yeah, Punch Out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not happy it's not on my list. I'm not.
It's the same way I feel about Mega Man 3, right?
Yeah.
It's like, one of my absolute favorite games. How do we not put it on the list? It's like,
because it's expensive.
I'm trying to look at this objectively, and what's the best bang for your buck, and that's where I landed.
All right, next on my list here, I have for $5, I think is an absolute steal at $5 is RC Pro-Am.
Oh, nice. That was actually the next on my list too. I had it at 6.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I fucking love that game.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
You got to have a racing game, right?
You have to.
And if you think about it, for me, thinking about what are the racing games on the NES, it's like, well, you could do Rad Racer. You could do Super Off-Road, but the one you have to do is RC Pro-Am, especially for that price. It's such a good game.
It's so fun. Again, infinitely replayable.
Mm-hmm.
Infinitely replayable. Just absolutely brilliant. Cannot go wrong at $5.
Yeah, even at $6, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, $5-6. I mean, yeah, you have to.
The sequel's great, but it's $108.
Yeah, no, that's not making the list.
That game was expensive even back when we were working at Funko Land and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, RC Pro-Am it's also, this is a great example of what Rare was capable of. Like, I really wanted to include Cobra Triangle, but if it's a choice between RC Pro-Am and Cobra Triangle, I like Cobra Triangle overall more because it's got such a weird personality. But RC Pro-Am covers your racing genre, which you got to have a racing game on there, and it does that whole isometric view thing. It looks so unique, but it still looks very good, and it plays really good, and it
plays really, really well.
It's a great representation of what Rare was capable of on the NES before they really went nuts with the Donkey Kong Country games and stuff.
Yeah, it's just so fun.
Yeah,
and again, one of those games that if you've never played it before, jumping into it, it's still fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not dated. It looks like an NES game, but who that cares? It still looks good. It sounds good. It's super fun to play. It cheats, Yeah. That orange car will just immediately get superpowers sometimes and be like, and then it will win. No matter what. It's just gonna go lap everybody. But whatever. It's still fun. RC Pro-Am is great. Fantastic pick.
All right.
How many you got left?
1, 2, 3.
All right, I have 2 left, so you go again.
All right. The last minute, so I had to do some maneuvering today to get this on there, but I felt like it had to be on there. So I took off today. I took off Bases Loaded, Ice Hockey, and Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2, and that got me enough money to get Rygar. at $12.
That was also on my list, and I had to cut it.
I had
and Iron Sword were both on my list, and Bases Loaded also made the cut, but I chose
Bases Loaded is like $3.
Right, it's great. But it was between that and Blades of Steel, and I had to pick Blades of Steel. But yeah, Bases Loaded is such a good call. Bases Loaded is great.
Oh, I love it. I love Bases Loaded. It's such a good sports game, and like I haven't gotten to my sports games yet. Those are my last two. Sort of spoilers, but man, Rygar. Like we've talked about, for me personally, how much I feel Rygar is it's an important game for me, in our friendship and all of that. But it's also a really good game.
It is.
It's a really, really solid action game, and it's one of those ones that does not play. I mean, it's an action platformer, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. But the mechanics of it are so unique.
I can add it. I'm at 98. I can add Bases Loaded 2 for $2.
All right, throw it out. I mean, Bases Loaded 2 is not as good as Bases, but all right.
But it's $2, and I have $2 to spend. What else am I going to put on there for $2, right?
You're not nothing.
Bases Loaded 2.
All right. But you know what I mean? Like Rygar again does kind of the Blaster Master thing, the side scrolling and then the top down and the Guardian Legend thing that it does too, and it's kind of got the Metroidvania thing, but it's just the weapon mechanics are so unique. The story is so fucking bonkers. The soundtrack is so great. The level design is great. It's just a brilliant game, and I love it to pieces.
It has a lot of really, really memorable imagery in it.
Yeah.
Like there are scenes in that. And I remember playing it as a kid and being so lost, but remember just their images. When you first saw that castle in the background, the castle in the sky,
so
like
cool.
Just from throwing around the grappling hook, and I found the castle in the sky, and it just, with the big lion head and stuff, it reminded me of Voltron, but it was like etched in my head. Same with the giant weird three-eyed dudes sitting on the pedestal.
Bald dudes, yeah,
right? Because you had the bald dudes, but then you came across one with a third eye, and it was just really unsettling, and it stuck with me.
What is that?
It was so weird. There's so many really great visuals in that game. It's got a lot of like weirdly detailed art, because this was a really early game too. This was early Tecmo, just kind of coming out of stuff of like getting the hang of doing the whole reinventing an arcade game to work better on the platform thing, right? Because Rygar Arcade sucks.
Oh, it's awful.
It's just a stupid quarter munching, swinging the disc arm around thing.
Yeah.
Rygar and NES that just became this whole thing. And, Solomon's Key was a similar situation, Mighty Bomb Jack, but those were all pretty straight ports of their arcade output. This was like a reinvention, and it's a really important piece of NES history. Like I said, it just didn't make my list because of price, but it's a really good pick.
Yeah, I had to get it on there, and it's like cutting Bases Loaded, Blades of Steel, and Iron Sword. It's like, oh my god, like that's three big, like, fun, worthwhile games to cut, but that got me Rygar, so all right.
You know what? I need to look up something. Trying to see if I can do better than Bases Loaded 2.
For $2? I don't know, man.
$2. Let's see. RBI Baseball? No, that's a no.
No.
What about Tecmo Baseball?
No. Not over Bases Loaded.
Bases Loaded 2.
Not even over Bases Loaded 2, I don't think.
Yeah. I like the music better in Tecmo Baseball. But it's $2.30, so I'm not going to round. I'll stick with my Bases Loaded 2 for $2. I'll take that win.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, play action football's $1. Magic Johnson's fast break. Win, lose, or draw. That's $2.25. You can round that down.
Yeah, no, I'm sticking with Bases Loaded because I want that baseball on there.
Yeah, I know. How the fuck do I not have a baseball game on my list? But I do not.
All right, this next one was a weird pick, but I have good reasoning for it.
Okay.
It's a genre that we haven't touched on, but it's a genre that's incredibly important to have represented. And this is a wholly unique game. This specific version is only on NES, and any version has not been ported to anything. It also has a 2-player mode. So it's $6. I went with Tetris 2.
Oh, okay.
Puzzle games are a big part of the platform, but I would recommend Dr. Mario, but there's a ton of ways to play Dr. Mario. There are not a lot of ways to play Tetris 2, and Tetris 2, while not the best puzzle game in the world, has a lot of really great content in it. It's got a great single-player stuff that the puzzle mode, we have to, like, these are the blocks you have to solve this stage and this many moves kind of thing. That's really, really worth your time to figure out. It's got some really cool music. It's got some really weird visuals, this really strange aesthetic, almost a story that's being told about like a stick figure finding a comet or something.
It's super weird.
It's so bizarre, but this game is really fun in 2 players. So if you've played something like Dr. Mario, it's a color matching game like that, but it's done with Tetris pieces. It's really messy and kind of weird, but it controls really well. I prefer the Super Nintendo version, but in the interest of having a representation of a puzzle game that's unique to the NES, I had to go with Tetris 2 on NES, because I just think you got to have something. Tengen Tetris is priced way off the bat.
Way off.
Regular NES Tetris is great, but it doesn't have a 2-player mode. Dr. Mario is, I think, is like $12, $10 or $12, so at half the price. If I got to choose, as much as I think Dr. Mario is the better game by a long shot, having Tetris 2 as just something to represent puzzle games on the platform was just too important for me. So I went with Tetris 2. It's a better game than Yoshi.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yoshi's fun for like 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, about that.
And it's $9.52. Like, it's more expensive, probably because of the whole the name recognition. Yoshi's Cookie is $7.75, but I still think Tetris 2 is a better game. Yoshi's Cookie's super interesting, but I'm more of a falling block puzzle kind of guy. So that's just where Tetris 2 fits. It's a really solid game. It's not as good as Tetris or Dr. Mario, but I still think it's a really good pick.
All right, I agree. All right, for the first of my final 2 here, my first sports game, for $3. All right, rounding up to get to $3. Not my first choice for sports game, but you could do a lot worse than Super Spike V-Ball.
Wait, how much was it?
$3.
$3? Really?
Super Spike Volleyball, $2.62. $2.62.
Son of a bitch.
So rounding up to $3.
That's a great pick. I love
Super
that
Spike
game.
V-Ball is so fun. I wanted Super Dodgeball.
Damn, I immediately went for the Super Spike World Cup combo for $8.
Yeah,
and then I took it off because I figured that would be similar price. I can't believe that Super Spike V-Ball. Damn. That's a great game, especially if you've got the 4-player adapter.
The 4-score or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, get that game running in 4-player mode.
Oh,
that
so
is a
fun.
Freaking winner.
So fun. Like,
that's $3. Wait, what did you say it was? You had it at
$2.62.
Yeah, $2.62
so rounding
is
up.
where it's at. Rounding up for $3. That would put me over. Damn, I would much rather do that than Bases Loaded 2.
Yeah, I wanted Super Dodgeball. That was where like my heart went right away.
That
like I got to get Super Dodgeball on here somewhere. That game is so fun. And when I looked up Super Dodgeball a few weeks ago, it was...
It's at $18.50 now.
Yeah, I can't... It's not $18.50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Spoilers, that's probably going to make the Game Boy Advance version, because that's only $7.50. And we gotta get
rules.
We got to get something on there. So that'll probably make that cut. But, man... I was like, all right, well, I can't have this. I wonder how much Super Spike V-Ball is. It was $3. Yeah, that's not even a question. That game is so fun. So fun. Jumping up and then slamming on the B button so you could get the fucking Super Spike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. And the fucking, like...
I was just playing it earlier this evening from the Kunio-kun bundle.
Nice.
I was just playing it earlier.
When it hits him, what's the thing that pops up on him? The little kaboom. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Kaboom sends the dude fucking flying. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so fun. It's got good co-op. You know what I mean? Good versus. Yeah.
I'm checking all the prices of everything that I have so far to see if I can.
So you can see if I can
get it find an extra $1. If I could drop Bases Loaded for Super Spike V-Ball, because I love that game. It's got some great music. It's so fun in 4-player. That game is it's such a great display of what that system can do in 4-player. And that's probably the one thing I'm really missing on here.
Yeah.
Is a proper 4-player experience.
And it's got there's my Double Dragon. It's got Billy and Jimmy.
You mean Bimmy and Jimmy?
Bimmy and Jimmy. That's right.
Good old Bimmy and Jimmy. Right, Ninja Gaiden was 12. Yeah, that's where it was 1188.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to get nitty gritty in here, RC Pro, and you had RC Pro at 5, right?
I did, yeah.
Damn. I had it at 6.
Yeah.
Even that's kind of pushing it. Fine. Base load it is.
I had Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet at 4. What did you have it at?
4.
4? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no wiggle room. I can't push it up to 101. I mean, I could theoretically push it up to 101, right? We can give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, but
no,
I'm at 100. Yeah, it's 100. That's the cap.
That's because that's the slippery slope, right? Yeah. Of like, well, all right,
why not 105, right? No.
All right, and then next thing you know, we're at $350. It's like, you can have everything you wanted. Like, $100 makes it hard.
Super Spike V-Ball, Super Spike V-Ball is a great pick. Man,
$3, man.
I'm kind of glad I didn't realize that sooner, because I probably would have made some terrible decisions. But I mean, I can't take off Blades of Steel is a better game for my sports representation. Like,
is it more fun though?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it might be,
definitely. No question. I mean, Super Spike V-Ball is super cool and all, but there's just Blades of Steel has this personality that just can't be topped. Yeah. Super Spike V-Ball is wonderful. I really adore that game, and even if I combine Super Spike V-Ball and Bases Loaded 2, it's still not enough to get me to Super Spike and World Cup. And it's still not a great pick, because World Cup is good, but it's not as good as Blades of Steel. And Base Loaded 2 is really just there to be those extra $2 at this point. So
yeah,
whatever. It is what it is. All right, well, my last pick probably shouldn't surprise you, considering the prices that I've given so far. My last pick, just because I feel like it has to be there, is The Legend of Zelda Gray Cart, $23.
Yeah.
It's my priciest game, but I felt like Mario, Metroid, Zelda, Kid Icarus, right? I rationalized myself out of Metroid, and Kid Icarus, as much as I love that game, is not one of the best games on the platform. So I couldn't talk myself out of Zelda. I kind of built my list around including Mario 1 and Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's still so much fun to play, and it covers a lot of bases, right? It is a top-down adventure game that involves it's historical for a reason, and I still think it's really fun to play and really fun to figure out, and seeing where the Zelda franchise started and where it got all of its information from. But play it with a map, play it without a map, make your own. There's so many ways to play it. I've replayed that game so many times, and I still have fun playing it. It's just a great game. So, yeah,
it did not make my list. It did not. I'm wanted
shocked.
It to.
The two games that you were like, how do you make a list without Punch-Out? How do you make a list without Zelda? All right, well, I'm not gonna, but you did.
It came down to this. I can fit $23 in. If I take off Rygar at 12, right? Or no, I would have to take off, looking at my list, I would have to take off Blaster Master, Rygar, and that only gets me to $22. So I got to lose Blaster Master and Rygar and Super Spike or Super Mario Brothers or Legacy of the Wizard. Mm-hmm. And Legacy of the Wizard, okay, you can make that $5 cut there, right? I understand that they're that's not the one that's breaking the bank, but do I cut do I cut Mega Man 3 and Metroid to get some more wiggle room? Like, because I didn't even, like, when I looked at this, I didn't even look at the gray cart one. I looked at just Legend of Zelda, and I was like, oh my God, $33. I just can't do it. And had I thought to look at the gray cart, I might have had some different decisions. But
here you go. The Mega Man 3 is at 23 right now, so that's your 1-to-1 swap. I still can't do it because I have Ninja Gaiden, I have Super Mario Brothers, so I have side-scrolling platform action games. I don't have a game like Zelda on there. It covers a different niche.
Yeah, I mean, I adore the original Legend of Zelda. You know how much I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm gonna look right now. Man, we're doing spoilers here. Fucking man, the Game Boy, the classic NES series is $29. Fuck, yeah. I was hoping that would be cheaper.
No,
I don't know. What's the? Oh, this is gonna break my heart. I don't even want to fucking look at the Super Nintendo.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
$33. How am I going to make a list without that on there? Son of a bitch. All right, well, fuck. My last game, I mean, it is not Legend of Zelda, but it is Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl. I was trying to figure out what your last game was going to be.
I love Tecmo Bowl. It's a single-player sports game, but god damn it, that game's fun. I adore Tecmo Bowl.
How much was Tecmo Bowl?
$8 is what I had it at.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Because I just looked up Tecmo Super Bowl. I was like, well, I mean, how much more could that be? It's $26 goddamn dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Tecmo Super Bowl, better game.
Okay, that makes sense.
No question.
Yeah,
no
Tecmo
question.
Bowl is up to $9.43 now. Lucky you, well, but still.
Yeah. Man.
Good pick. I thought you were going to go with, like, man, what's at the end of the alphabet? Like Xanac? Is he going to pick that? I mean, Xanac's a great game, and I know how much you like shoot 'em ups, but it's like $20, and I wasn't really keeping track of where you were.
My waffling on this one for like kind of a different, unique sports game, because like there's not a lot of football games that play like Tecmo Bowl. Like Tecmo Bowl is very much its own animal. But I was looking at like unique sports games, and it was like, I got Tecmo Bowl at $8. I got pro wrestling at $6. So like I could wiggle another $2 in there somewhere and maybe make something happen if I put pro wrestling on. Or like, do I take off Tecmo Bowl and put on Marble Madness? 'Cause I kind of want to. But no, Tecmo Bowl.
You'll get more out of Tecmo Bowl than Marble Madness. Marble Madness is great, but it's super short. Tecmo Bowl's football. You can just keep doing that.
You just keep playing it.
Yeah.
Just keep playing it. So that's my list. Let me run it down again to for the grand price of $100 when I did this. Blaster Master at 10, Dragon Warrior at 8, Legacy of the Wizard at 5, Kung Fu, not Legend of Kage, only an asshole would pick that over Kung Fu, at 8, Mega Man 3 at 20, Metroid at 17, RC Pro-Am at 5, Rygar at 12, Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet at 4, Super Spike V-Ball at 3, and Tecmo Bowl at 8.
Very respectable list.
It's a good list. I don't know that there's a great list. I think there's only good lists here.
I feel pretty damn good about mine. I think my list is great. I'm honest to goodness. Minus Bases Loaded 2. That's just space filler. But my $100, Bases Loaded 2, Blades of Steel, Blaster Master, Double Dragon 2, Ninja Gaiden, Punch Out, RC Pro-Am, Mario Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet, Tetris 2, and Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good list.
Right? I mean, you get an NES and that stack of games, you're going to be playing games for a while.
Yeah.
These are winners, and they're going to give you a really good taste of what the system was capable of.
And I really did, like, up until we started recording, I was waffling between this list and my 4-game list. Because my 4-game list, that was also exactly $100 when I did this, was Punch Out, Mega Man 2, Gold Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Brothers 2.
And that's really good.
That's a really good list, but really I thought it would be too short of a show. So I went with the other one.
That's a really good list, but it leaves out so much. Like,
Much.
It leaves out so many important things that you get those and then you start to move up in the next round, right? There's all sorts of stuff to get in the next round. Like my almost made it list is Cobra Triangle at $8, Metal Gear at 13, Stinger at 14.
Do you know
Turtles
how hard
2.
it was to leave Metal Gear off of my list?
I'll bet it was hard to leave it off of mine, and I know you're more of a fan. Rygar at 14, Turtles 2 at 16, Super Spike V-Ball, World Cup Soccer at 8, even though I could have done much better apparently.
Yeah.
Star Tropics at 10, Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2 at 17, Skate or Die at 4, Goonies 2 at 11, and Gradius at 10.
You had Iron Sword at 14?
17.
17? I'm looking that up. It's $5.11 right now. It was $4 when I looked it up a month ago.
Where the hell did I get 17 from? Because it's the complete one, and I have it complete. I was looking at friggin' whatever. It's still, I can't. I don't know what I would take off at $6 to replace it with.
I mean, there's I
love Iron Sword, but I mean, Tetris 2 is a puzzle game. There's no other puzzle game on there. It's about representation there. But yeah, Iron Sword's a solid pick. Love that game.
Yeah, I mean, Kid Icarus is 17.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to find a way to put Little Nemo the Dream Master on there. That's 14. Bionic Commandos 10.
I don't even want to look at DuckTales.
No, DuckTales 22.
Yeah, no, it's too much.
Can't fit it on there. And I mean, if I look at my 4-game list, if I knock Legend of Zelda down to 23, I can fit a $10 game in there, like a fucking, a 7 and a 3. Like there's some wiggle room there, but I don't know, man. I'm happy with my list.
I think
would
your
be
list
very
is great.
happy.
Yeah, I think your
to
list
have
is great.
that stack of games.
Yeah, it's an excellent selection there. Well done, sir.
So fucking hard.
Yeah, this was brutal. What's next? Game Boy?
Master System.
Master
is what
System.
we had next.
All right, that's going to be tough for me. I don't have a ton of Master System knowledge, but I feel like I can come up with $100 worth of games for Master System.
Oh yeah, like there's definitely $100 of fun to be had on the Master System. Now, for our listeners playing at home, here's where we cheated on the Master System. Because in America, Master System games are really expensive.
But we're allowing PAL.
But the PAL versions of the games, because fuck you, it's our thing, and we said you could, are so much cheaper. So much cheaper. Like, it's absurd, the difference. So, when you're playing at home, if you're on price charting, look up the PAL versions of Master System games.
And you can play them on your US console, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was any
region locking, so...
NES and Famicom, you'd have to have a different system. So that's why we didn't include that here, but pretty sure PAL Master System games work just fine in NTSC one.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some really expensive, even looking at the PAL versions of stuff, there's still some pretty pricey games on there, but I am very, very happy with my fucking Master System list. I'm so excited about that one.
I'm excited as well. But I'm also exhausted, so I think it's time to call it, Dan.
Yep, put a pin in it, as they say.
That is our show. Join us next week for, it's May. So it's time for May Mania.
That's right, baby. Mania!
Now, if you don't remember what Mania is, which I honestly didn't, it was a bracket thing, right?
Yeah, it's the bracket challenge, because we didn't do it in March when everybody else did March Madness. We did Mania.
Now, that lasts more than 1 week, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep, so what we'll be doing is we will be starting with the round of 64, and we will be, going in the Northwest and the Southwest and the Northeast and the Southeast. And I'm just going to fucking make those up as I go along and seed the fucking shit. And we'll go from there. And we'll whittle it down from 64 to 32 the first week. And then the second week, we'll go from 32 down to 1.
And now this is fighting games, right?
Fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw a really old trailer for a Street Fighter movie, and we just watched the Mortal Kombat movie, and we were like, fighting games.
Yeah.
Done and dusted.
All right. I love it. All right.
It's going to be great. And it's going to make a lot of people really angry, I think.
Probably including us.
Yeah, I'll have to, I'll get my buddy Rob as our tiebreaker again.
Nice.
And just for continuity's sake, he's not a huge fighting game guy, but, continuity's sake is fun. Because of that, if we disagree, it really does come down to a coin toss.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? Like, there's... It is what it is at that point, so, yeah.
All right, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, the Geekade Patreon, which helps keep this show running week after week, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd also like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks, and we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That is it. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week for May Mania. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
Hey, you did that really well that time.
Thanks. I really need the bathroom.